Hi, my name is Cassidy McCormick, and welcome to my presentation on management strategies for technology integration in the classroom. If you're a classroom teacher or a pre-service teacher who's contemplating technology integration, there are so many great things about it, but you also have to think about how you're going to manage your classroom. Classroom management is basically your procedures and plan for maintaining behavior and appropriate learning levels in the classroom. And there are a lot of specific classroom management strategies that apply to only technology integration. Those strategies include, but are not limited to, methods of gaining attention, procedures, eliminating issues, and planning ahead. For gaining attention, this really means you want a nonverbal signal to tell your students, stop what you're doing, we're going to not be using technology right now, listen to these instructions. So speaker power, that is where if you're in a computer lab, you have all of the speakers connected to one power source, so you can turn off the sound on their computers of what they're doing so that they'll know I've got to stop what I'm doing and listen to the teacher. Or if you have a tech on, tech off verbal signal like this stoplight used for BYOD, you would have the green up for they can use their technology to do what to finish their task, or if there's red, you don't need to have your technology out at all. Basically, it's keeping you from having to yell and tell them when they can and when they can't. It's posted somewhere where they know that they can, what they're supposed to be doing. For procedures, you want to have something similar to stop, look, and listen. You need them to quit doing what they're doing, have full attention on you, and be listening. A good procedure also would be having printed instructions for long projects to have step-by-step checklist of what they need to be doing, and that will keep them on task during the classroom. And make sure you always include in your procedures to save your work. They need to have that. They need to practice saving their work at all times. And hands to your own device. You want to make it a rule that is followed and enforced that students can help one another, but they can never touch another's device. So that ensures that there's learning going on at all times, because even though a student's being helped, they're having to do it on their own rather than someone just doing it for them. For eliminating issues, the main thing is walking around as a teacher. If you're walking around and you're watching what others are doing, that's going to eliminate most of your issues and most of the inappropriate use of technology. And another one is student helpers. If you employ technology managers to help with troubleshooting and keeping people on task, that's going to eliminate almost all of your issues. And planning ahead. There are a lot of implications for planning ahead when you're doing technology integration. First, you want to practice your lessons before you present them. You need to make sure that everything works, make sure that students are not going to be confused, that your content is not very confusing, and that it can be done in the time that you want it to be done. Also, even though you practice, you need to always have a plan B that doesn't include technology, because you don't know if when you get to that class period, there's going to be a Wi-Fi outage, there's going to be a power outage. You don't know what might happen. So you want to have a plan B that doesn't include technology where students can continue to learn that day. Another thing be seating assignments or arrangements. You want to assign students in a way that helps with the technology integration. You might want to do it by ability grouping or heterogeneously. I would say technology ability heterogeneously, so that the higher technology ability students are paired with students who may need a little bit more help with technology. You also want to make your arrangements so that you can move around the classroom quickly. And display instructions. If you have a recurring task that might happen, like logging into your Google account or beginning a Word document, stuff like that. If you have a recurring thing that you're going to use a lot, make a poster board, post those instructions on the wall somewhere where the students can always read that and refer back to it, rather than having to ask that question or get help every time. They can just read the instructions that are posted on the wall. Now, a lot of these are specific to the technology that you might use, but generally, using technology integration, you want to always have student helpers. You want to always be walking around. It's always good to have students keep their hands to their own device, because you want to ensure that learning is always happening. And you always need to plan ahead, just as without integration. But the different devices that could be used are computers, like in a computer lab, laptops, or your mobile devices. So specific to computers in a computer lab, they have the little buttons on the monitors where you can turn the monitors off completely. So maybe when you gain that attention, you have them turn off their monitors so they can't be working while you're giving instructions. Another thing is for students to gain your attention. I've seen a lot of different ways. That could be, you could do a sticky note, so they post a sticky note at the top of their monitor so that they might need some help or assistance. My favorite one that is very visual and you can see it a lot easier is a plastic cup. Every student gets a plastic cup, and when they need help, they place it upside down on top of their monitor screen. And this informs you that they need assistance, and it's like a non-verbal, they don't have to raise their hand and yell across the room. And as we talked about before, the speaker power. So when they're watching videos or researching, you turn off all their sound so that they know they need to turn around and pay attention to the instructions. For laptops, the main one that is technology specific is 45 your screen. This is a great way. Say when you're done, you need to 45 your screen so that I know you're finished, or when you want to have instructional time for them to be listening to you, have them 45 their screens, because they can't look at them. It's kind of the equivalent of turning their monitor off for laptops. And for the mobile devices, you want to post a no phone zone so that the students know not to have their phones out. Or you can also do face down. That's the equivalent to 45 in your screen, and turning your monitor off is have your device face down. Now with one-to-one and BYOD, the main thing that's specific to this is have a designated area for your devices for when you're not using them. You can have a cell phone hotel or a charging station, and a good management strategy for this is that when students come in with their device, they have to place it in their little cubby for their device. You can say that's for attendance. So if you don't put your device in the charging station, you're marked absent for today. So you need to put your device in the charging station, and we'll give instruction, and then you can go get it. You also want a tech on, tech off signal that students are aware of so that they know when they can have their device and when they cannot. This concludes my presentation on management strategies for tech integration. If you would like to do some more research, Edutopia, Education World, Teach Magazine, and EdTech Team are some really great resources that I found helpful while making this presentation, and I hope that you learned something new about managing technology in the classroom today. Thanks.